is my research project on Sprite and Dr. Pepper. The question I wanted to answer was, which one is better for you, Sprite or Dr. Pepper? To start off, the background. Reading through the journal reports and studies that I looked into before doing this research project, I learned that the sugar that is found in the carbonated drinks such as Sprite and Dr. Pepper and Coca-Cola and Mountain Dew and 7-Up and pretty much any soda that you can think of, it has a lot more effect in our bodies than we come to realize. It affects us in our gut hormones. According to a 2012 study published by Diabetes Care, it has an effect on our weight, which is also backed up by another study done by pediatrics. The weight gain that we get, there's another study on that by a clinical advisor that goes in deep about how it affects our ability to gain weight. Not to forget that sugar also has an effect on causing premature coronary disease, according to the 2025 study published by Nutrition and Metabolism. And not to forget that it also has an effect on our metabolism, based on a 2004 study done by PLS1. With so many negative effects from sugar in these beverages, you shouldn't drink it at all. Even though, most people do still want to drink it, we really should. But if you really want to drink some soda, it's good to know which has the least amount of sugar to decrease the side effects that I just previously mentioned. My aim, if you haven't figured out already, is to determine the sucrose concentration, aka sugar concentration, in a can of Sprite by comparing different sucrose concentrations to Sprite concentration in sugar to figure out how much is sugars in Sprite. And only then can I figure out whether Sprite is better than Dr. Pepper in terms of your health. Materials that I used. Obviously, this is solid sucrose, DI water, which I will explain how this all comes together. Sprite, Dr. Pepper, a refractometer, a 20 milliliter beaker, a weighing boat, stirring rods, and 6 test tubes, and a scupula. Methods. Well, to find the sugar concentration of Sprite, Dr. Pepper, I don't know why that says 7, I used a refractometer, which measures sugar concentration. To find the sugar percentage that was in Sprite, I had to make a stock solution based on sucrose too, and dilute it in several increments. So then I can find where exactly the Sprite range in the stock solutions and the concentrations, so then I can find where it might most likely fall, and determine whether it is better for you than Dr. Pepper is. Data and observations. Now, after doing the stock solution and making 6 other diluted sections, such as taking one milliliter from the stock solution, adding it to 1 milliliter of water, and then taking 1 milliliter from the first solution and adding it to the solution and adding 1 milliliter of water, and so on for 6 other ones that I previously showed the concentration for. And then after checking with the refractometer 3 times for each test tube, and then taking 3 tests and 3 trials of Sprite, I got this curve. You can't see that much the words because of the fact that I had to make it much larger because it was in the gram. It was more like what's the word? It was throughout a range across the graph, so that's why it looks that small. But if you can see that the black long line that's curved is the sucrose diluted solutions. Starting from the right is the stock solution, which is just the sucrose in the water. It is all the way up to 1.44. And then very quickly, when I take 1 milliliter from the stock solution and I mix it with 1 milliliter of water, it goes all the way down to 1.38, that range. So quickly, the concentration shows a dramatic change and it slowly goes down. Now the red line is Dr. Pepper, and the purple line, which it doesn't look that purple in the picture, but it's purple, is Sprite. It maintained this number all 3 trials, so it stayed in a constant of in the 1.35 range and the 1.36 range. Now, what I did with this information, my analysis of both the constant of Sprite and the constant of Dr. Pepper. Well, after making 7 different sucrose concentration solutions and testing them in the refractometer, and then testing some of the Sprite 3 times, I was able to figure out that sugar concentration lies between 0.02286 grams per milliliter and 0.01134 grams per milliliter, while Dr. Pepper aligns directly with the concentration of 0.02268 grams per milliliter. So that is probably the closest that we're going to get on this concentration. Obviously, there will always be some sorts of error. It might not be exactly 0.02268 grams per milliliter, but it's very close to it. The results show that the sucrose concentration of Sprite is lower than Dr. Pepper, meaning that Sprite is better option for you between the two. Now, conclusion. After comparing the sugar concentrations of the sodas, Sprite, and Dr. Pepper, to sample sucrose concentration solutions, I conclude that Sprite is better for you than Dr. Pepper in terms of sugar. I can't say anything about acidity because I didn't do that part. But in terms of sugar, Sprite beats Dr. Pepper. My future direction. Now that the sugar concentration of both Sprite and Dr. Pepper has been tested, I plan to test the acidic concentration to see if Sprite is less acidic than Dr. Pepper and is truly better for you. Because in the end, my question is it truly better for you? So my plan is to go and figure out which one is less acidic to see if Sprite is truly going to win against Dr. Pepper, or if Dr. Pepper is going to win the round of acidity. Acknowledgements. I would like to acknowledge Ari, who was my research partner for this project. We both were in, I guess, a group together, the pairs together, and collected the numbers for the soda. I did for Sprite and she did for Dr. Pepper, that I was able to use for my comparison. Now, the bibliography. One of the sources that I used was, the author is Richard Brown, and the effects of diet soda on gut hormones in youth and diabetes. Another one is this one, which was based on the influence of it in weight change. Another one is on whether the consumption of SB leads to premature coronary disease, which it did. The results were that it did. This one was on the effects of fructose corn syrup on the metabolism, which it does affect it in a negative way. It slows it down. And lastly, my last source was on whether, the artificial sugars that they put in, if it promotes weight gain and increases appetite in people, and it does. And with the increased appetite, it promotes more weight gain. Thank you for your time.